Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fancy Scientist podcast. I am super excited about today's episode. I am featuring Chitra Rekha Basyal, and she is one of my students. She went through the Successful Wildlife Professional Program, and I am so proud of her. And I invited her on the podcast because I wanted you guys to see her success, celebrate her success, and see what is possible for you. Chitra comes from Nepal and she was a forestry student. And she attended this webinar where she started to realize the lack of research, but the need for conservation of turtles in Nepal. And the thing that I love about Chitra's story is that she made things happen. So often in this career, people argue for their limitations. They're like, I can't do this because I don't have enough money, or I can't do that because of XYZ. And Chitra did not have that mentality at all. And she'll mention in this podcast that she doubted herself, but she gave herself a chance and she ultimately chose to believe in herself. So she made amazing things happen for her just by being bold, just by reaching out to people and seeing what could happen as a result of that. So Chitra has set up her own research on turtles and gharials in Nepal. And since enrolling in the Successful Wildlife Professional Program, that her main goal was to be able to go to graduate school in the United States. And that's something that we worked on together over the course of the 4 months she was in the program. She was such an amazing student. As she mentions in the podcast, we reviewed her resume, I think 3 or 4 times, and she did everything that I told her to do. She incorporated the vice perfectly. And now I'm so happy to say that she's going to be coming here to Illinois next month. So we're actually going to try to meet up in person, but she's going to start her master's working on turtles here in Illinois. So I'm so proud of Chitra. And I want to just say a couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast, a solo podcast called Ensuring Your Own Success. It's podcast number 99. And it's on Sarah Blakely, who is the CEO and founder of Spanx. She's a self made billionaire. And when I had that podcast out, some people were like, oh, well, we can't all be like, billionaires. And the point of that podcast was not for you guys to be billionaires or to start your own company or anything like that. It was to take the attitude that Sarah has about her success. It took her, I think, 7 years for her to get Spanx to a successful level, but she believed in herself relentlessly and she did unconventional methods and just pursued avenues that other people thought weren't possible. And the reason why I'm bringing up this podcast is because I feel like Chitra embodies so much of the values that Sarah has and the methods that Sarah used. She just reached out to people and looked for help, asked how she would be able to help, and really just made her dreams come true as a result of persistence and passion and not giving up on herself. So I want you guys to listen, of course, to this podcast, but also check out the Ensuring Your Own Success podcast. I am so happy and so proud of Chitra. Hi, Chitra. Welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Dr. Stephanie.
And you're coming all the way from Nepal. It's actually early in the morning here for me and late at night for you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your interests are, and what journey you're on in your career?
Hello, everyone. It's me, Chitra Rekha Basyal from Nepal. And actually, I was born in a small village. It is Sangja. But now, currently, I'm living in the capital city of Nepal, which is Kathmandu. And I am now 24-year-old and I am a BSc Forestry graduate. However, my interest is more aligned towards wildlife professionally. And I am more interested in herpetofauna research. And during my bachelor's studies, I had done research in gharial, crocodile, and turtle. And soon I'm joining my master's at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. And the major help I got from Dr. Stephanie, and I'm very grateful to you. but they help because being an international student, figuring out an assistance is very hectic, and because of lack of information, like we never got the opportunity, even if we do hard work. And thank you for your course. I'm very grateful. And regarding my personally, I love dancing and I love hanging out with my friends, and I'm a more kind of smiley person. And thank you for the invitation for the podcast. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And this is first podcast, actually. Yeah.
And okay, so you said you're interested in herpetofauna, which is
Yeah.
like reptiles and amphibians. And I think you're especially interested in turtles. Is that right?
Yes.
How did you become interested in herps and why turtles specifically?
Actually, it hasn't been much years that I became interested in turtles. It started from the COVID. I am a bachelor. I'm a forestry student, and during the COVID, I got more immense time to actually figure out what I'm interested in. And actually, in I was in the second year, and during that time, I was interested to do some research and figuring out and going to different organizations. I was aligned towards the webinar and organization which are more aligned towards wildlife. I think it was 2000 and there was a turtle day. And during that time, the Turtle Rescue and Conservation Center conducted a turtle awareness program, and I attended that webinar. And I came to know that the turtles, there are 19 species of turtles in Nepal, and almost all of them are threatened. And as I was trying to figure out what is my research interest professionally, that webinar made me realize that there is no any person or a specific organization who are doing research in turtles, and they are so neglected. Because of that, I got some motivation that I should at least see if I can do anything, or I started to explore the basic information about turtles. And exploring about them, I got to know that there is one species of turtles in Nepal which is also threatened, and turtle name starts with my own name, that's Chitra Indica.
Oh, I love
And that,
that.
yeah, and that hits me more. I got more interested towards it, and there another more major motivation was that the lead keeper from the Turtle Rescue and Conservation Center, his name is Sapil Prakash Raisar, and he was the major motivation factor for me. See, actually, I reached out to him, and he motivated me to read the research papers and helped me throughout to do some research, and my journey started, yes, for
That's
turtles.
amazing. One of the things I've been so impressed
Yes,
by you is your ability to make things happen. So you watched a webinar and it was virtual. You never met
yes,
this person. And then
yes.
afterward, so tell me what happened afterward. You sent them, well, you did some research on your own and then
At first,
you sent them an email, and how did you connect?
I know about Mr. Sabin sir, and he contacted me with Tapil Prakash sir, and after that I started conversation with them in from Facebook, and I was interested in turtles, so they invited me to join a group that is Turtle Club in Chapa, and that is also virtual. And from that group I started to gain information, and I also see one post regarding the grant turtle research grant. And from that I feel that I should try, and because of that, yeah.
And you've done a lot of research on turtle, well, you said gharials as well. Or how did the research start? Can you tell us about, because again, you organized this with another scientist. How did this all happen? And can you tell us about what kinds of things you studied?
Yeah, actually, all things are interconnected. And after that, it was after I think 6 months, I got selected in one training, wildlife research training. And before that, I knew very little about wildlife research. And it was an on-site training conducted by Friends of Nature Nepal. And during that 19 days training, I was taught about bird watching, herpetofauna, butterflies, or mammals. I was taught about camera trapping and in that training, we had to do the 6 months of internship. And in that internship, we also had to write a proposal. And as I was interested in turtles, so I decided that I would write a proposal on turtles. So these all are interconnected, and because of the time, and if I hadn't gone to that training, and if I hadn't joined that internship, then I would not have that made that proposal or done research, have done in research in the turtles. But because of all these interconnected and because of the right timing, mm, it happened.
What kind of research did you
Sometimes
do
I
on?
think, sometimes I don't know like why I feel like I am destined to research turtles. So sometimes I feel like that. Like it gives me so much satisfaction. It is okay. Like I don't expect much, but regarding turtles, I mean, finding me very lucky. Like where I applied for the idea while too, and I applied for the same proposal, and that was my first proposal, and I hadn't expected that it will get the international grant. And sometimes I feel that I am being lucky for the daughters to do the research. Yeah.
What kind of conservation challenges do turtles face in Nepal?
The major conservation challenges is because of the pollution, like wetlands. The wetlands are not conserved, and other are because of invasive species like water hyacinth and all the, and especially in Tarai region, like many people still they do have them as a food,
Mhm,
but many, and they are also traded, and these are
mhm.
the consumption challenge. Yeah,
Are they traded for food, or is there some value to, like,
yeah,
having them
they
as a
actually,
pet?
yeah, for pet also. Yeah, mainly for the pet. Yeah.
What kind of research did you do working on turtles? Because I know you did actual research on the turtles, but you also did community work too?
Yes, actually, it was very basic study, baseline study.
Mhm.
I identified the diversity of turtles in the wetland, and as well as also find their status, as well as the conservation threats and the people perception towards turtle conservation in that region.
And can you tell us more about your gharial research? What did that entail, and how did you get involved in that?
Yeah, like for the career research, like I was doing my bachelor study, and in the last semester we had to do an internship. I had to do the internship in Chitra National Park. I was selected for that, and at that time I wanted to do the research on turtles, but because of as turtle research need more equipments like videotelemetry and camera traps, and that resource was not available for me at that time at the national park. So I decided that I should do some research, but it's interrelated. And I thought that I am in the national park, and the gharial is the major fauna there. So doing the research, and it is critically endangered. So I decided to do the research on gharials, and as the habitat is same, so I was also expecting to see turtles during the survey.
So you're doing it on them, but you're still inspired by turtles.
Yeah, yeah, but that research also helped me to gain more skills regarding research. Yeah, like I use as regarding data analysis, like I use R and SPSS. Like before, I didn't know about that, and that helped me to gain more in depth
Mhm.
about research. Yeah, but I know that there's still many things to know, but yeah, that's just a small step in research field. Yeah.
And I know in your research you did, like, surveys with the community. Can you tell us more about that? I think that was your turtle research, though.
In Gharial? Yeah, in Gharial
Oh,
also
it was
I did
Gharial?
in Gharials also
Mhm.
I did do both field level study and community study. And in field level study, I identify the factors which affect the habitat use of Gharials in the Narayani River. And in for the community level, I understand the perception towards Gharials, and if there is any conflict with Gharials in between the community and the Gharials. And yes, that thing I
Mhm.
interviewed to the locals.
Did you get any sense with how people feel about these animals? Did they Or did when they talk to you, did they maybe get a change of heart? Say maybe they didn't care about these animals before, but after talking to you, I don't know if this was part of your project at all, but did they maybe start to realize, "Oh, these animals are important and wetlands are important." Do you have any insight on that?
And what I found was that as my study was based on national park area, so in the national park, like the national park and on the community forest, they do the awareness program on regular basis. So the locals are very aware about the importance of the gharials. In the turtle site also, there was a community. It has been recent that they are conducting awareness programs to the locals, and there is a management committee who manage the turtles and the wetlands. So I found that in both areas, people are quite aware. I think this is because of the internet too, as well
Mhm.
as the effort by the management committee, and especially in the national park. No one, I don't think that no one is aware that we should. Mm, no one is not aware that we should protect the animals. Yeah,
Mhm.
Th- yeah,
So the
yeah,
community was, like, in favor of protecting the animals.
yeah. Favor and protection. Yeah, but some we cannot say 100%, but yeah, the
What would you say is your ideal dream job? Like, where do you eventually want to go in this career?
Yeah. And I think my ideal dream career will be to become a freshwater biologist
Mhm.
in, in any organization, and I will be happy to be in Tata Survival Alliance. But I am happy to work for turtles in any organization. That is my dream job as a researcher, as a biologist.
And, so you're doing your master's, you're when are you do you have an official start date and everything?
Yeah, I'm starting. It is starting from 16th of January.
Oh, wow, so next month.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so you're going to Illinois next month?
Yes. Yeah. And
Oh my
within this, I will fly.
how oh, okay, so tell us about the process of going to get your master's, and that's one of the main reasons why you joined the Successful Wildlife Professional Program, correct? That was, like, your main goal to get
Yes.
a master's, and you wanted why did you wanna do the United States?
Yes. The major reason for choosing United States was that because of its excellent university, the
Mhm.
exposure is brilliant, and it was my dream country. And I wasn't expecting that I would be able to get my master's in the US, but you made it happen. Thank you for that. And my regarding my journey to get my master's after my bachelor's, I was a bit confused about what should be my next step. There are my in my country, the government jobs are also quite nice. They are with good salary, and it is as it is permanent, so the craze for the government job is also very good in our country. And at that time, many government postings were opened, and I was a bit confused whether I should do my masters or go or read for the government job. And regarding that, later I figured out that I am more inclined towards research. And in the government job, there is no any research. The focus is not on the research. So I decided that now, no, I would try for masters, and I will try to do as my interest was turtles from my bachelor's third year. So I figured out that yeah, it will be as my background is also on turtles. So doing my masters, I should give at least one try to explore my interest and
Mhm.
try to get my master's in the turtles. So everything was new for me, and as in the internet, there is information, but they are all scattered, and and especially in the wildlife, in specific career, there is no any information. So I started actually at first I started looking at the universities, and I was a little bit active in LinkedIn, and I started to search persons who are in the United States and other states who are like doing or who are biologists or who are professor in the wildlife field, and I got to know you. And
Mhm.
it says I saw your LinkedIn profile, and it was full of information regarding the wildlife, and I was so happy to found you. And I immediately sent you the request, and thankfully you accepted it, and I started to talk to you. Yes, and you also recommended me to see your website, and from that website it was full of information, and it was I felt so blessed to know that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And because of that, yeah, I didn't know anything about wildlife career. And I also found that the wildlife career is so hard in the US. Yeah. And there is so much competition and after that I doubted that if I would be able to continue in this career or not. And but however, later on I thought that I should give one try. Why not to give try? And he also mentioned that there is a course coming up regarding the successful wildlife professional course.
Mhm.
And I was willing to take the course, and but as I'm an international student, and it was the and affording the course in the US dollar was not, and I had no any job. So and you got my scholarship for to attend the course, and I am very grateful for that. And the course is very nice for the especially for the students in international students, because they don't know anything about the wildlife career in the US. Actually, your course is not helpful as for specific to the US, but also in the for the other course, other also for the wildlife career in the other countries or Nepal. Yeah, because of and my CV was so basic, and he helped me with the CV. And actually, I refined my CV, I think 4 to 5 times. And then I feel like now I can get any job with my CV, especially in the wildlife. And because of that, I also got my internship here with the CV. And actually, and after that, yeah, I refined my CV, and he also helped me to refine my cover letter, as well as helped me to how to reach out to the professor.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you helped me, suggested me different ways to reach out. You say that finding through the Google Scholar or through papers. And after that, I also got one opportunity to attend the Turtle Conference in the US. And
Mhm.
yeah, and at that conference, I found one professor, and he was willing to help, willing to take me as a master student. He said that I should send him a CV, my CV, and with that CV, I got my.
Did you have to interview and everything, or was he just, like, right away, like, "I
the
want you as a student?"
the professor is Michael Joseph Dreslick. I actually I met him in person in the conference, and I was doing my poster presentation. And I think because of that presentation, as I was
Mhm.
doing my research, and he looked over to my presentation, and he I approached to him, and he said, yes, please send me your CV. And even I don't have to write a cover letter after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he also helped me to write the cold email. Like I was unknown about a cold email. I didn't know before that the email we write to professor with which who we don't know is a cold email. And
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I with your suggestions, I had done so much refinement to my emails, CV, and cover letter, and I was able to figure out like what I'm doing wrong, because the system here in Nepal and system there in the US is so different. What we think is right in Nepal, it is quite just opposite there.
Oh, really?
So yeah, like in Nepal, like we many in job positions or other positions, like in the CV should be very like 1 page, 2 page, or very. It shouldn't be like lengthy. Like in the academic
Mhm.
CV, actually we write the responsibilities, what we did in any job or any research. But in Nepal, like, they expect not to list down those points. So that was the major difference. So that I was able to figure out majorly.
Yeah.
And other aspects of other different things, the format also, it was quite different, yeah, from here and in the US. And so and that I formatted. Yeah, that way I got accepted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
so
yeah,
awesome.
actually you also helped me too. You have helped me so much. I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, you have also helped me to write the SOP also. So yeah, you have edited that too.
I helped you write an SOP?
Yes, yeah, you have edited my SOP too.
What is your SOP? I don't remember this part.
Oh, SOP to apply for the masters, I have to formally
Oh,
apply to get the
like your
master's degree.
statement.
Yeah, statement
Okay,
of
okay.
purpose.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of things as you were an excellent student. And for CVs, so in the United States, it actually is true where like a traditional CV, like you don't list like what you do underneath,
Mm,
but usually people that have CVs are professors, so they have a lot of experience and a lot of publications. But at this
yes.
point, when you're trying to either get like your first job, even if it's in research and they ask for a CV, you're still going to want to do like a CV resume hybrid because you want to explain what you did. Otherwise, if they just read positions, you're not gonna be able to, like, show off all the things that you've done. And yeah, like, things might be different in the United States and Nepal, but the reason why I do this course and why I do what I do now is because you're right, there's so little information about this career and about how to do it. And what I've
Yeah.
found is that there isn't one path. Like, yes, you can get your degree, but your bachelor's degree isn't enough for th it isn't enough anymore just by itself. You need experience. You can get permanent jobs with a bachelor's degree, but you need experience. So the reason why I made the course was to create the background information for everybody to have about this career and then all the different options. And then the mentoring on top of it to help you guys individually because you're all going in different directions. And as you mentioned, this career is really competitive, which I didn't know about when I started. I knew that getting a professor job was competitive. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be a professor, so I'll be fine. But I had no idea that just jobs in this field in general were competitive. So yeah, so that's why exactly why I do what I do because it's all such a mystery. And I've had people help me my entire career. Every time I had an internship, I would ask, like, how did you become a wildlife biologist? Or how did you get to where you are? And then I kind of put all those stories together. And then through my own experience, I realized that like, just the competition increased so much that it needs to be even more niche than that. So I commend you on what a great student you were, and you said your CV wasn't good to begin with. That's not true. It was good. It's just that this it's so competitive nowadays that, like, we really need to make it better, and one of the things that you did is really common where you list your experiences, but you don't go into the level of detail of, like, how much you did. I remember talking to you on the Zooms, and I was
Yes.
like, "You did
Yeah.
so much stuff, like, you gotta add this, and you gotta add this detail and paint a picture of what you did because you're really self-motivated." Like you said, you see that there's a need for something, you're like, "How can I do this?" And you reach out to people. So, I hope that's a lesson that the listeners can get from you to make things happen. And another thing is there's this big misconception that you have to be rich to be successful in this field. And none of my friends in this field were rich. I can only name one person that in my entire career that was like innately wealthy. And he's not even really a wildlife biologist. So it's really all about, like, your passion for making it work, and that's what you've done, and now you're going to the United States.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's so exciting.
The major purpose to attend your work, your course, that it happened. Yeah, it was successful.
I know, I am so happy, like, when I got that
But
email from
yeah,
you.
because of the course, it made it successful.
So what
Mm.
is your master's do you know what your master's research project is gonna be?
Yeah, it will be on fresh, but the specific research is not yet decided.
And it will be in
But it will.
Illinois?
Yeah, yeah,
Will I
it will
mean,
be.
like, the field work and everything will be in Illinois?
Yes.
When you finish your master's, do you expect to go on to a PhD, or do you think a master's is where you'll stop?
Yeah, actually, I haven't thought much about it, but because the 2 year course will help me to figure out more about it. But actually, I wanted to, after masters, I want to work some years in the field and later on I want to join PhD. Actually, at this moment, I don't want to jump jump to PhD after masters. Yeah,
Mhm.
I want to gain some experience because
Yeah.
yeah, I think that is more important for me. Yeah. Mm.
Do you see yourself going back to Nepal and working in Nepal, or do you envision a career in the United States, or does it not matter just as long as turtles need help that you'll go where the turtles are and need your help?
Actually, we see the future, what I will do, but I think actually I want to gain some experience on turtles in the US at first
Mhm,
because there is a lot of things that I need to learn and gain experience, and later I want to implement those things for turtles of Nepal. Yes,
mhm.
yeah, I envision that. Yeah. Mm.
I would love to see you, like, work for that organization you talked about, like the Turtle Rescue and Conservation Center, or start your own nonprofit, or I'm sure, like, World Wildlife Fund or Wildlife Conservation Society has activity in Nepal, but probably not on turtles. They probably focus on large mammals, but I think you would be, like, so great at a position like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your interview today. Do you have one last piece of advice or tips for students who are maybe doubting themselves and wanting to get a goal like you achieved, but are doubting themselves? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think the major tip or the major life changing tip I got from you is that first to be specific, like to
Mhm,
know what is your interest and actually give time to yourself to figure out like what makes you happy to do some work or
mhm,
in the professionally or personally. Actually, in the professional field, like you said that be clear on what is your dream career,
mhm,
give time to figure out about it and find a job portal, what is the market, and it gives so much clarity what skills do you need to be competent in that field, and it will help you to guide choose directions, because in our life, like we in the professional field, we will get sometimes we get distracted on because of because nowadays there are various opportunities, and sometimes choosing wrong opportunities, despite it is opportunity, but sometimes opportunities can also be wrong, and it
mhm,
can kill your time and distract from your goals. So I think the major tip I get from your course is to know the dream career and go to the job portal and find out about jobs, what you want to do, and list down the skills, what you need to mm, gain to be in that career, and that is the major turning point. That will be major turning point for your career, and I think this is also very important in a personal life too, like regarding the relationships or whether your short term goals, yeah, everything. Yeah. And that is the major take away from your course, and I think that is the major tip for any career, not only in the wildlife but any career. And other thing is that sometimes we doubt more about ourselves.
mhm,
We feel that we cannot do. We started to compare, and actually because of the doubt also we lag behind. So sometimes having a positive mindset and believing in yourself and have give positive energy, and positive energy help you to do hard work for your career. And yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much once again, and it was so much fun to chat with you and catch up with you. And you'll be in Illinois. I'm in Illinois. I don't know how far you're gonna be in Carbondale, is that right?
No, Illinois Urbana-Champaign.
Okay, I'll have to see how far that is. Maybe we can meet up and I can see your turtle research.
Oh, I'm happy to meet you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. The thing you have given to me is invaluable. I cannot express it in
Oh,
words.
well, I'm so happy
And
to
I
help
am
you in this way.
and I wish to meet you too.
Okay, great. Well, make it happen then.
Okay. Yes. And thank you for this opportunity to talk in a podcast too.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again, Chitra. I loved hearing your story. You're so inspirational. Before we end, I just want to touch upon a couple of things that she said. First, about slowing down. It is so important to slow down in this career. And like she said, really take the time to figure out what you want to do. I have the free job tracker to help you figure that out. It's a spreadsheet I made where you can track jobs, and this will help you understand what jobs you're really interested in and then what are the qualifications that they require to get these jobs. Because what happens to a lot of us, this happened to myself, this happened to so many of my students and so many of you that I talk to. You graduate, and this can happen at the PhD level, the master's level, and of course, the bachelor's level. You apply for jobs and you find out you're unqualified because you're lacking something. I am a PhD level. I have postdoc experience, and I still am not qualified for certain jobs in the government because I do not have botany experience or classes. So the job tracker will prevent you from making mistakes like that. And if you're far enough along in your career and you're still not getting jobs, it'll help you see the things that you're missing. And then you know what to do to get them. In the Successful Wildlife Professional Program, I help you do this. I mentor you through this process. I provide all of the background information on all of the jobs so you clearly know what they're about. And then we work to create a roadmap for yourself to get you from point A to point B. So I really want to encourage you to take the time to slow down. I love this phrase. It's slow down to speed up. Chitra's right. So often we're chasing the next opportunity, we're chasing the next thing because we feel like we got to be employed. And it's okay if you are working a regular job, if you're doing Ubering, stuff like that, and taking the time to really figure out your career, because honestly, that's actually a strategy that will help you rather than just jumping from one opportunity to the next if they're not aligned with what you want to do. So many people think that if I just have a bunch of experience, I'm going to be competitive for jobs. But the people who have the most experience for that job get the job. So if you have experience all over the place, you're not going to be competitive for many jobs. That was my experience. So just take the time to slow down. Slowing down to speed up works tremendously. One of the biggest things that gets in the way of people's success is yourself. And this field, to be honest, is not very supportive. It's hard to find good mentors. It's hard to find people who are going to lift you up. And that's true of the world too, but I think it's especially hard in our field. And it is so important for you to believe in yourself. And that is something we also do in a Successful Wildlife Professional is I teach you how to do this. I teach you how to literally reprogram your brain to stop believing in those limiting thoughts, those limiting beliefs, and instead choose thoughts that get you on the path to where you want to go. When you have control over your brain and your thoughts and your beliefs, that's really when things change because then you can make anything happen. When something gets in your way, you'll figure out a way around it, even if you don't know how. Like Chitra, like she reached out to me, she reached out to other people. She was stuck. She didn't know how to figure things out, but she reached out and she was determined to figure out. She mentally had that passion, that commitment, and that's what we teach in the Successful Wildlife Professional Program. So if you're interested in joining, make sure you are on my email list. We're going to open again in March. And yeah, just get on my email list and you'll receive all of the information. I'll put the waitlist link too in the show notes. I am also putting the links for Chitra's LinkedIn so you can get in contact with her and chat with her about anything you might need help with. If you were inspired by her story, just send her a message, let her know. I'm sure she will love that. We're also putting in the links for the Turtle Rescue and Conservation Center. Before we started recording, Chitra was talking about how money is such a limiting factor there. So if you want to donate, I'm going to provide that information. I'm definitely going to donate, and I encourage you to as well so that they can continue to do wonderful conservation work for the community, for the turtles, for the wetland areas. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this episode. I had so much fun, and I love to hear your thoughts on these episodes. So please feel free to send me a message, have some comments on social media. I love hearing back from you guys. Have an amazing day. Be kind to animals, be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, and just have fun in your career. Go for what you really want and don't let your doubts get you in the way. Bye.